Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. My name is Janan Sarwar, and on behalf of ITVusa, I'd like to welcome you to our daily Ramadan show entitled Our Prosperous Ramadan. On this show, we interview inspirational Muslims to learn more about what they do in their professional spheres and communities and how they're prospering this Ramadan. It's an honor to present today's guest, Brother Sami Kabir. Brother Sami is the Northeast Area Manager for Guidance Residential, an Islamic home financing provider. In addition to recruiting, mentoring, and managing the New York sales team, Sami is responsible for developing the New York market by reaching out to different communities by holding educational seminars, sponsoring community events, and much more. This brother has been with Guidance Residential for over a decade and maintains over 20 years of experience in the housing industry. Brother Sami leads a team of professionals, and they're continuously looking to add like-minded, fresh talents to this team as well. So I'm really looking forward to learning more personally about Islamic financing, the positive impacts it can have on our society. So without further ado, welcome. Assalamu alaikum, brother. Thank you for coming today.
Wa alaikum salam rahmatullah, Sister Jana. Thank you so much for having me today. I am honored to be part of the daily Ramadan show. Thank you so much. I'm here to answer any questions you may have.
Sure. So, I mentioned your bio. Is there anything else about yourself, your family, or anything that you'd like to add that I didn't share?
Well, first of all, I'm married and with 5 kids. Having children here in USA, it's it's a lot. But other than that, I have been in the housing industry for about 20 years. For those of you who would like to know my background, I have been in the conventional mortgage industry prior to joining Guidance. I joined Guidance back in 2011. Since then, it's been a wonderful journey. Did not know a lot about Islamic finance, which I learned throughout my career here at Guidance Residential, and it has been very enlightening. Working with the community, Muslim communities here in USA, it helped me understand how riba can be effective in a negative way for our lives and the community itself. So it has been a great learning process.
Yes. So you shared a little bit. So what led you to make that change from being in conventional to this Islamic finance?
Well, it's a little bit personal, but I will make it short. I went to Hajj back in 2009. 2008, I started to meet a lot of imams. Something that, when Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala wants to guide someone, there has to be a reason. And I started to get involved with fundraising for a new masjid. And the imams, about 5 or 6 imams, they were trying to invite Sheikh Nana from Egypt. And I was part of that effort. And that's how I started to sit and have meetings with the imams. And I had questions about riba and its effect. And I was telling them that this is something not permissible as a Muslim, and I must not be involved in it. And they guided me throughout the process. And I decided to give up my career with the conventional banks. And then Guidance Residential reached out. And I wasn't sure about is it really possible, Islamic finance without interest, and how can people make money doing finances? So I did not believe in it much, but after a long discussion with the management team at Guidance Residential and doing some research, I realized that yes, there is something called Islamic economics is out there. All we know is just finance, and interest is the only way, which has been, in a way, that has been the goal for people to forget about the other options. But banks here in this country are maintaining and controlling the financial industry, which is another topic that can take a long time to talk about. But that was my path to enter the arena of Islamic home finance.
It's very amazing that you shared that. Thank you for your honesty, because I think there are people listening, including myself, that have certain questions and are curious. And you actually are an example of someone who personally was not sure and you learned more. So that's exactly why we have you here today. So Jazakallah khair. And let's start off. Do you mind defining two terms, and maybe these are big terms, but what is Islamic banking in a nutshell, if you can? And then what is riba, for those who don't know what riba stands for?
Sure. Islamic banking is something that we come to see outside of USA, right? In the Middle East countries or our back home, there is Islamic banking is there, and Islamic banking and the Islamic finance and avoiding riba, ultimate goal as a Muslim for us to avoid interest. And why Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has prohibited riba? Because riba is something that not just can corrupt a person's finance, it actually can corrupt a society. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala did not say that if you don't fast during Ramadan, if you do not pray 5 times or give zakah, you have waged war against Allah and His Rasul. He has never said that. But in Quran, towards the end of Surah Baqarah, he mentioned that those who devour in interest have waged war against me and His Rasul. And then there's a quote, it says that they say commerce is allowed, but interest is prohibited. Back then, during our Prophet's time, when our Prophet was trying to eradicate riba, it took him time. And back then, there was a backlash. And they used to say, the moneylenders, which were the Jews, they used to say that commerce is similar to riba. The way you buy and sell goods, you can also buy and sell money. But the difference is money has no intrinsic value itself, but a product does, for example, dates, right? Or any goods. So money cannot be sold or bought for more money. Otherwise, I would give you $5 and I would ask you, give me $6. You will ask me, what is that extra dollar for, right? So that is called usury, and usury is prohibited, which is in translate of interest that we understand. So Islam prohibits riba. What I'm happy to share with you that a lot of Muslims here in America prefers not to get into riba at all. So Islamic finance has been around. If you were to get into a financing of a asset like a home or a car, you would seek the help of a financial institution, which is the Islamic bank, who would finance the asset for you, and you would pay back over a period of time. Now, Islamic banks would make a profit, of course, but the agreement between the consumer and the bank would not be based on a lending and borrowing agreement, because riba, something would become a riba if you are lending and borrowing for a profit. If someone needs help, you would lend money, but for the sake of sadaqah jariyah, or for a charity purpose, I mean to say, but not to profit out of. So banking institutions, which are Islamic in nature, they would make a profit. For example, I can give you buy and sell. If you were to buy a car with the Islamic bank, they would buy the car for you for X amount, and they will sell you with the profit. And then you will owe them an amount that you need to pay them back with equal amount for over a period of agreed upon terms. That's okay. That's called profit markup. But there are many different instruments are available according to Sharia to finance. That's, in a nutshell, is known as Islamic finance.
So thank you for explaining all of that. So are you saying, is Guidance Residential an Islamic bank?
Guidance Residential is not an Islamic bank. The reason is we are here operating in the USA. Yes. Now, in USA, banks are precluded from owning any properties or buying or investing into properties. So if Guidance Residential was a bank, we could not finance and co-own the properties. So for this, I need to go back and I need to explain to you that how financing is done with Guidance Residential. Yes. Guidance Residential purchases a home with the homeowner together as a co-owner, meaning as a partners. So we would buy the house together. And why we are able to do that is because we are not a bank. Banks in the USA, conventional banks, by design, are authorized to lend money for more money. The money that you deposit at the bank, they will actually use that money to give as a loan through credit cards, business loans, student loans, home loans, and etc. Their sole job is to create money out of money. Now, Guidance Residential is not a bank, and therefore we are able to partner with you. If you are to purchase a home, let's say you are planning on purchasing a home for $100,000 and you have about, let's say, $5,000 available to put as a down payment, the $95,000 would be brought in by Guidance Residential to co-own and start the partnership with you and co-own the property with you. And then you are to pay back Guidance by buying the share over a period of time.
Okay, that is the co-ownership and the process in which you help individuals. Thank you for explaining that. That does make more sense to me. So it's not an Islamic bank. Who does own Guidance Residential then?
So Guidance Residential is owned by Capital Guidance, and Capital Guidance is owned by two families. Dr. Muhammad Hamour, who is the chairman of Guidance Residential, he is the second generation. So Guidance Capital has been around over 50 years. We have 24 locations, 24 countries globally, and with 74 locations with offices worldwide. Here in the USA, we are operating in 34 states. So Guidance Residential parent company is Guidance Capital, wholly owned Muslim company, and we are known as a private equity investor.
Okay. So can you explain, I think you did explain already, that it's through the co-ownership that there is no interest or riba. Is there anything more you can elaborate when people are confused of how it's possible, if there are still questions?
Sure. So Guidance Residential co-owns the property with you, right? Let's say we start a co-ownership agreement with 95% and 5%. Now, you as a homeowner would like to purchase your share from us over a period of time, right? That's how you would become 100% owner at one time. Yes. So we would give you a payment plan, let's say for 30 years or 20 or 15 years. And based on the terms that we agree, we will come up with a payment plan. And the payment plan will include two portions. And one portion is you are paying towards your share to increase your share. And the other portion is a profit for Guidance Residential, because you are occupying the ownership that belongs to Guidance, but Guidance is not occupying or enjoying or benefiting from the ownership. So to transfer the benefit of our ownership to you, in exchange, you are actually paying a profit to Guidance Residential. And that's the profit that we make. And the way the profit is calculated, that once you buy a certain portion, you will be paying profit for the remainder of the portion that you do not yet own. So you are not paying twice for the same portion that you already purchased from us. So our profit month after month will decline. It will be going down. And the payment towards your portion to increase your equity will increase month after month as months progress. Now, you don't have to continue the payment for the entire term, let's say 30 years or 15 years. You can buy us out at any time without any penalty. So if you bought us out in 5 years, the profit you paid us in 5 years, that's all you would have paid to Guidance as a profit.
Okay, so based on what you're saying, I'm understanding that Guidance is not a bank, it's a non-bank solution, if you will, to avoid the riba, which you would need if you are going to conventional, getting a loan of some sort. There's not a loan happening here. This is a co-ownership of, say, a property or something that you're trying to get. And it's in your Islamic organization, you have Islamic principles. So are there other organizations or other groups that do similar work that you can compare to Guidance?
There's nobody else actually have the exact program that we offer. Recently, we came to know there is a bank-owned entity, subsidiary, who claim to have the similar product like Guidance Residential, but they are a bank. Like I said, banks are prohibited from co-owning a property. Although there are other institutions, they say that they're separate then from their parent company, which is a bank. But then again, US Code 12 prohibits a subsidiary of a bank to act on its own. If you have a subsidiary of a bank, the bank must have full control to manage, operate, and dictate everything else. So it's very difficult to say that how can a bank co-own a property with you without being able to structure an LLC. You see, Guidance Residential went the long path, did not take the shortcut, and we had to be a non-bank entity. And in order to create a co-ownership, we have to have governance, right? If there are two parties that are co-owners, you have to have a governance to protect one another from anything that may arise over a period of time that is unknown. To legally protect one another, you need to have something called LLC structure. So if you create an LLC structure as co-owners, then you are able to create a true partnership. Now, banks are prohibited from creating LLC structures in order to create a co-ownership, because banks are only allowed to lend by design. So anybody who is claiming to have a so-called Islamic mortgage solution is actually a shortcut version, which have full of doubts from the scholars. Now, Guidance Residential, when we started our program, we reached out to IOFI. IOFI stands for Accounting and Auditing of Islamic Financial Institutions based in Bahrain. 6 of the scholars actually helped us design this Musharaka contract when we started 20 years ago. And we chose not to take the shortcut. It cost us $25 million, and with 18 different law firms and 5 years of research and development, led to start an authentic program. For banks, it's very easy to open a window and call it a halal window and offer a solution, but that is something is not approved by the scholars. It's not me saying this. AMJA has declared guidance residential is the most permissible path to home financing for Muslim Americans.
Inshallah, thank you, alhamdulillah, for sharing these facts, because there is confusion, when you're looking to purchase or buy a home. I shared with you before our call, my family lives in an apartment still to avoid some of these things, having riba and not being sure. So I really appreciate the clarity. And you've also shared a little bit about that LLC structure that allows guidance to do what they do. Is there any particular fees or anything that that's incorporated with that because it's an LLC? Or what as a purchaser of a home, what would we need to know as far as how and where our money goes? Sure. Compared to a regular bank?
Sure. If you try to create an LLC, it would cost some, there are some costs to create an LLC. To maintain an LLC, there is also a cost. Initially, guidance did not want to charge our customers any fees at all for the cost of maintaining and creating an LLC. So our scholars suggested that our customers should be part of the cost. The reason being, it actually protects the homeowner as well. Let's say, for example, somebody decides to sue Guidance Residential. If Guidance Residential did not have the LLC structure, it would implicate all the homeowners together. And if the opposite happens, if the homeowner gets a lawsuit or somebody trips and falls on the property of the homeowner, they would look into who is the owner of the property. And there you go, Guidance Residential is the co-owner, and they will want to go after the big boys. So LLC structure protects one another. And because of that, scholars suggested that we charge $18.75. How we came up with the $18.75 back in 2000, early 2000, I don't know the answer, but that's the amount that the scholars suggested, that let's charge, put a small fee of $18.75 for the customer to pay. Whereas, there are a lot more fees, right? If somebody is having a LLC and wants to file a tax return, the minimum CPA cost is $300, $400, $500, right? So to maintain so many LLCs, guidance do have a lot of cost. To tell you something that you would be happy to learn, when we started Guidance Residential, we purchased 50,000 LLCs from the state of Delaware, series LLCs. So we do have them. So anytime a customer becomes a homeowner with us, we use a new LLC. So every single customer have individual LLC numbers.
Okay. And when you say $18.75, that's a monthly fee, and LLC, see, you're testing me on my knowledge of things. That's a limited liability corporation that you create with each individual.
That's correct.
Very interesting. Is this kind of home financing option only available to people in America, or where are your offices located?
Sure. So here in USA, we are operating in 34 states. Our program is not just available for Muslim Americans. This is available for non-Muslims as well. Anybody here in the USA would like to use our program, we're happy to serve them. Aside from this, back in 2009, we were invited by Darul Tamlik, based in Saudi Arabia, to help them structure the similar model. So if you Google, Darul Tamlik has the similar model of financing. Back into, if I hope I'm not mistaken, back in 2018, we also started in Morocco. And also, as I have said, we have made a lot of influence globally with our program. And Guidance has been around 50 plus years. Guidance Capital have been doing equity investments, allocations, and so that has been ongoing all the time. So we are not just a company based in USA decided to open a Islamic option for the Muslims. We actually did a lot of homework. Just to give you a background, Dr. Muhammad Hamour, he is economist by profession. Back in 1997, when he started this project of research and development to come up with the solution, he saw the need for the Muslim Americans to purchase a home, and many were not buying homes because of this. And he saw that there were other bank-owned entities were trying to offer the solution, but that was not the solution that he knew that is real. I can tell you, when I joined Guidance back in 2012, I came to know this family. I still remember his name, and we still keep in contact. He has been in this country for many years, 25 or 30 years. He reached out, he saw my flyer at the masjid in Bronx. He contacted me. And after that, we end up financing a home. The gentleman was so emotional, and he said that he had 5 kids in one bedroom apartment in Bronx, and that he lived. And he was crying right after closing. And then he started to get all his kids married from the new home, after they moved in. And he invited me. I was humbled, by the invitation. So you can see families are benefiting from the program that we decided to, our founder decided to start for the Muslims.
Absolutely. Yeah, I hear how it sounds like a family. It sounds like there's support that you offer to the community, to people who need this support, who need to understand how to lead an Islamically, approved financial option. So that's really amazing. What other work does Guidance do for the community, or how can people support what you're doing and what your company is doing?
Sure. Guidance Residential is the only Muslim-owned organization who has donated over $2 million since we started. Our goal always has been to educate Muslim Americans about riba, to stay away from riba. We hold multiple seminars throughout the nation at different communities about riba and what to stay out from, and about our program, and demystify the home financing here in America. We sponsor events like fundraising events for communities, masjids, if there are Islamic schools that they are fundraising for. We do our best to support any way, shape, or form that we can help the community. The reason is we could be a bank. Going back again, we had the option to be a bank, and we could make loads of profit, and we could do that. But our goal was to stay in line with the fabric of our faith with the community. And that was the goal. And the goal is not just to finance a home for a Muslim and move on to the next. Our goal is to be with the community, to support the community anytime possible. And I always ask the community members and the leaders of the masjid that please let me know if anything we can do, any sponsorship, anything that's happening, we will do our best to support. And that's what we've been doing. We're also hiring. We like to hire people from our community. Recently, earlier in the year, we started a campaign where we would actually put a poster or a banner at the masjid and saying that we are hiring great career and signing bonus and everything, student loan payoff and things like that, 401k and all that benefits. We have those banners at some of the masjids, and we ask the masjid that allow us to put the banner. It will allow someone from the community will be able to have a career with us. And not only that, if we are able to hire, we will also donate to the masjid just to be part of this hiring process of someone's career.
That's definitely, I see a cycle of giving back, a cycle of, dawah, right? Spreading the truth that you have about, Islamic finance, what banking is, what we can do, because a lot of times there are questions that people have and maybe we don't know, but once you do know or know that there are places you can go to get more information, we should do our best absolutely to educate ourselves. As Allah says, subhanAllah, in the Quran, Iqra, we have to read, we have to seek knowledge. We can't just avoid it and say, oh, I won't get in trouble for that, I will get in trouble for this. We should seek the right knowledge, and alhamdulillah, there are ways to do that. Is there any final words or any websites or anything that you want to share for the audience for them to find you or find Guidance Residential?
Sure. So our website is guidanceresidential.com. And we have a local office here in New York. I'm here from New York. So we have an office in Nassau County in Westbury, 1400 Old Country Road. We have a team of experts here at the office. So we will be happy to help anybody who would like to be in touch with us.
Thank you so much. Jazakallah khair, Brother Sami, for your time, for sharing all this wisdom with everyone listening. On behalf of ITVusa, we thank you. And for everyone listening, we hope you continue to stay. We're featuring stories every day during Ramadan on our Prosperous Ramadan. It's been an honor to have these experiences. Again, I'm Janan Sarwar. Jazakallah khair for your time, and assalamu alaikum.